What's up, Team Big Snack? Welcome to Kinstretch. In today's class, we're going to go over how to self-assess yourself. This can be very effective for figuring out what your weaknesses are of the body and how to specifically and what to work on. Let's get started. So the first position we're going to assess is going to be hips. Okay. What I'm going to do is show you shirtless, just so you can see where the compensations are, the common compensations. Okay. First one we're going to do is internal rotation. Okay. All right. So we're in our supine position. Okay. That's on our backs. What we're going to do is just going to lift one leg up. Okay, pick either side, doesn't really matter too much because we're going to do both, okay? All right, so first thing we want to try to figure out is getting this hip in line, or this leg just like in a 90-degree angle, okay? So that's ankle and knee, that's knee and hip. We don't want to be out, we don't want to be in, we don't want to be down, we don't want to be up, okay? So find that best 90-degree angle that you can, okay? I'm going to leave my head up just so I can chat at the same time, but head's going to be down, okay? All right? From here, I want you to imagine like a rotisserie chicken. So like from the knee to the hip, which is in line, it's gonna be like a solid steel rod that's not really gonna move any way, okay? So if I imagine my rotisserie chicken, what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna slowly just twist that rotisserie chicken, okay? And as we twist that rotisserie chicken, this is for our internal rotation, okay? We're gonna see how far we can actually bring our leg. I'm not trying to force anything. I'm not trying to like squeeze anything. It's just naturally where my leg wants to move, okay? Common overcompensations here is gonna be hip hike, okay? So I'll show you again, hip hike, boom, okay? So then if you are gonna hit that hip hike, you're gonna actually come back and then try again, and then don't let that hip hike and try again, okay? So that's gonna be about, for me, okay? A good example of how much degrees of rotation you need, it's going to be around 35 to 45 degrees, okay, for a gen pop, all right? If you're an athlete or your goal is to have more internal rotation, then obviously you're going to keep going to get more, okay? That's up to your goal and your lifestyle, all right? So again, internal rotation, going to rotate, common overcompensations, hip hike, okay? And then maybe even the leg will come out, kick out, or in, okay? That's internal rotation. Okay. Second one, let's go over external rotation of the hip, okay? Again, I'm gonna do the same leg. Make sure you do both legs, but for the video, I'm just doing the one, okay? Leg comes up, let's get our leg to 90 degrees again, okay? Remember that steel rod? Instead of driving our foot outwards, we're gonna drive our foot inwards. And again, common overcompensations, the knee will start to kick outwards, your leg will come across, and then you may even hike this left side of the hip. So then it's going to look like this, okay? So again, if you start to feel like your leg is coming out, okay, or maybe the hip is hiking, then what I want you to do is reset, go again slowly, okay? Cool. Okay, so next one we're going to do, guys, is hip flexion, okay? Again, everything we're going to be on our backs. So we're going to bend our leg to our chest, okay? So again, we want to make sure. Let's just start in our 90 degrees of the hip again. Always 90-degree angles, okay? It seems to work the best, okay? From here, we're gonna slowly just bring our knee to our chest, okay? And as we do that, common overcompensations here. I'm gonna try to lift my hip, but then this is gonna hip hike again. Like when I go for the knee to the chest, you might compensate, boom, hip comes up, okay? I want you to maintain, reset, come up. One more compensation here is gonna be over tucking of the lower back or pelvis. So like when I come up, I'm gonna tuck my butt, okay? Or put my head down for you guys, put my arms out just so you can see. Come up, I'm gonna tuck my butt to get me up higher. We're not gonna do that, we're gonna reset. It's gonna naturally just bring my leg to my chest. Another one actually is also leg coming out or in. Remember, you're at 90 degrees, knee stacked over the hip, okay? That's hip flexion, all right? Straight leg hip flexion is another one I suggest you guys should assess as well, okay? So on this one, we're just gonna slowly, instead of bending our leg, we're just gonna slowly bring our leg up, okay? And when our leg comes up into the sky, our common overcompensations here is gonna be, again, tucking the pelvis to get us up, crunching our body down to get us up higher, even bending the leg even more. Try to maintain as straight as you can. The tighter your hamstrings, the less bend you're gonna have. So just do your best. Everyone's gonna look different. You don't want to copy and try to get yours looking exactly like mine, because I'm super tall. You're probably not. Classic giraffe styles, but that's okay as long as you do yours to where you feel, and then you can assess just by your body alone. Okay, so that's hip flexion, straight and bent leg. Okay, now let's roll over and do extension of the hip. Okay, I do recommend doing things without a shirt on, or maybe for the ladies, little tight tank top, so you can kind of see your compensations yourself, because sometimes you may feel things, but you won't actually know visually if it's changed or vice versa, right? It's all practice anyway, okay? So with this one, you're just gonna lie down, okay? Whatever's comfortable with your arms, that's okay. I have the mic on, so I don't wanna squish it, all right? From here, all we're gonna do, if you're on the floor, use a mat if you don't wanna put, or a t-shirt or something, if you don't wanna put your head on the ground, okay? So we're hanging out here, and then all we're gonna do is just slowly lift the leg up, okay? And as you lift the leg up, you are actually going to feel a bit of a stretch in the front of your leg here, okay? When we go up, common overcompensations here, guys. I'm going to lift my head up now, just so you can hear it clearly. Common compensations here is actually overdriving my other hip into the ground, which is going to look like this, and it's going to like twist my lower back across the body, okay? Common overcompensation, okay? Another one is overarch of the lower back, okay? So when the leg comes up, I overly arch my back to get that range. But we're not fighting. I'm not trying to lock things in. I'm just trying to softly, relaxedly lift my leg off the ground and see what happens. Another overcompensation, actually, guys, is the left hip will overdrive into the ground. I'll really push that left hip will drive through the floor, okay? All right? So that's hip extension, all right? Again, your degrees, all right, of how much range you should have depends on each person, your goal, your lifestyle, also, but like for a general idea, for general population, Gen Pop, we call that, right, is going to be 35 to 45 degrees. So if my leg's on the ground, that's going to be 90 degrees. If I come up, okay, if I'm able to get my leg straight in the air, that's obviously 90 degrees. So in between that somewhere is about 45 degrees. Okay, so for me, if I try hard, I'm going to be at that angle, which is pretty close to 45 degrees, okay? That's hip extension, all right? Next one we're going to go over is hip abduction, okay? So this one, you're actually going to come to your side, all right? We're going to lie on our sides, all right? Remember, you want a steel rod in between both the left and the right shoulder, okay? So just like the hip, we want to do that. The bottom leg is going to come at 90-degree bend, all right? Top leg on top. We want our left and our right hip to be in line, okay? Nice and stacked. Both hip bone to hip bone, straight and in line. Shoulder bone to shoulder bone, like you're driving that steel rod between shoulder to shoulder, between hip to hip, okay? There's like a bony part right here, hip to hip, all right? From here, guys, we're going to slowly just let our legs slowly come up. Good. Overcompensations here, common ones, is you're going to start to tweak or like pinch this part together, over engage the bottom side of the leg, okay, to get your leg to go higher, okay? Or your leg might shift forward, or another common one, you're going to start to rock your body back. Oh yeah, I got lots. Yeah, but you're moving your body now, okay? All right. The degrees you want to start, because you're actually in a little bit of adduction, you're going to bring it up to 90 degrees, which is about here, okay? And then from here, hip stacked, shoulder stacked, leg comes up slow, okay? That is hip abduction. Adduction of the hip, which is the inner thigh stuff, okay? So we're going to bring this leg in front this time, okay? This leg straight. We do always, like I said, we want to have our 90 degree angles. So this pad actually is just going to go under this knee, just to help us kind of align these hips a little bit more, okay? And then from here, these two hip bones, again, you want that same degrees punching forward. And the arms, again, shoulders stacked, hips stacked. So what I mean by stacked is Both shoulders in line, steel rod. Both hips in line, steel rod, okay? Once we have that, we're gonna slowly just lift our leg up to the sky the best we can, okay? Common overcompensations here is our leg shifting forward or back, or when it comes up, we start to slowly hip hike our body and drive this right hip into the floor just to get our leg to come up, okay? Again, reset back to 90 degrees, come up, all right? That's hip adduction. So that's internal rotation, external rotation, okay? That's hip flexion, bent leg. That's hip flexion, straight leg. That's hip extension, straight leg. That's hip adduction and adduction, all straight leg, okay? Next thing we're gonna go over, guys, is shoulder mobility, okay? All right. 1 second here, let me just fix this little, up. For all my big snack fam out there, welcome, hello. I miss everyone. I miss all my clients from Vancouver. I recently moved to Toronto, so I'm now training people here. But sky's the limit, let's do it. Shoulder, okay? Oh man. Keep getting screwed up over here, All right. All right, so now we're going to do internal rotation. I'm just going to waddle down a little bit so I'm a little more in the middle of the camera for the shoulder because you don't need to see my legs as much here, okay? My legs are just straight, chilling, okay? Don't flex them, don't point straight, don't point out, just relax everything, okay? All right, so now my arm, I'm going to do the right side, all right? We want to get a 90-degree angle again, like what I said that before, right? On the hip, so now shoulder. My shoulder and elbow are in line, okay? If you need to just bring the arm down a touch, that's okay. Or up a touch, that's okay too. Because sometimes you'll get on an angle if you're too high, you might feel pain in the shoulder, okay? All right, so let's just get standard operating procedure is going to be 90 or just below, okay? From here, all we're going to do is slowly bring the shoulder down. You can also just let the shoulder lightly punch outwards. So like my elbow is going to punch just a little bit outwards, okay? All right, just a touch. Don't force it, okay? Now we're going to assess our internal rotation. From here, we're just going to slowly let our arm drop down to the ground. And our overcompensations here is going to be shoulder coming off the ground like this, okay? Just to get that arm to go to the floor, all right? But again, everyone's range of motion is always going to be a little bit different, and that's okay. Just keep that in mind. It's not a competition. You're in competition with yourself. So if you're here, you're trying to impress yourself, like that's not impressive, man. You want to make sure this shoulder, this whole arm is pretty much on the ground. This shoulder blade, this arm is not hiking up, okay? Another compensation might be your wrist as well. You come down, you start to curl the wrist. You come down, you start to lift the elbow or whatever it is, So be aware of that, okay? Again, your angles for this one, if this is 90, 45 to 35 is pretty decent, okay? Again, your goal, your lifestyle, if you need more, you train it more. Simple as that, all right? External rotation, all right? Same thing, get your arm at 90, lightly punch the arm outwards. We're gonna slowly just let the arm come back. Remember, I'm not flexing anything because I can do this movement. I can actually engage my shoulder. I can drive my shoulder into the ground and I can really control that movement to get my activation, okay? But we're just being loose here, okay? Loosey-goosey, just to see what happens when our arm comes down and see if it hikes up. When you do get to your end range position, you should feel a little bit of a stretch through the front. If you feel a huge stretch in the back or some discomfort, that's something you can leave as a comment and I can help you out another way because that is not a good thing. No bueno if we feel pinchy stuff in the back of the shoulder. Internal rotation, no bueno if we feel pinchy stuff in the front of the shoulder. You need to stop immediately and you need to contact a FRC certified instructor or a kin stretch instructor to help you out with that, okay? Which I didn't mention in the hip videos, but it's the same process there as well. If you feel pain, pinch, contact an FRC provider or a practitioner, okay? AKA the snack man, all right? Got to promote myself too, all right? Okay, so back to external rotation, coming down. Common compensations in this one is really obvious and big. It's going to be shoulder coming off the ground or lower back is going to overarch and you're gonna flare your ribs, okay? Very common, right? Next one we're gonna go over is shoulder flexion, all right? Same position, arms by your side. You're gonna slowly bring your arm over your head. Again, just arms stay straight, fingers straight, come up slow, okay? Nice and close to the ear. We don't wanna be out here, we wanna be nice and close, okay? Common overcompensations with this one is gonna be, again, over arch of the lower back and over flare of the ribs. If I just sit up a little higher just so I have more range, because my range is pretty good, I come back behind the head. If my flare, just to get my arm to come down, no bueno, guys, all right? So make sure you stay. This is all, I'm not even flexing. Like I could flex this to the ground and do it. Obviously I'm gonna get more if I flex, but I'm just relaxed, seeing how far my arm will naturally go back to shoulder flexion, okay? Again, if you feel pain in the back of the shoulder, no bueno, you've gone too far and you might need to stop and find a practitioner, okay? AKA the snack man, I'm always down to answer questions. Makes me become a better coach anyway. So fire away in the comment section, all right? Let's go for shoulder extension now. We're just gonna do a little roly-poly action. I don't know what you guys call it in this country, but where I'm from, we call it roly-poly, okay? I'm gonna scoot down to make sure you can see my arms. That's not even right. That was flexion again. Sorry guys, I'm just gonna do a little sneaky. I could do the worm if I really wanted to. All right, correction. Arms by your sides, head down, okay? So from here, my arm is gonna slowly come up in the sky, okay? Your elbow can be slightly out in this one, okay? If it needs to, arm comes up slow. What you're looking for overcompensations here is me rocking the body forward, or when you come up, you start to drive your body down to the ground. So if my head's here, you start to drive your shoulder towards the floor, okay? No bueno again, guys, all right? So again, come up. Overcompensations is gonna be rocking to the side or shifting the shoulder to the ground or even out or even bending the elbow to go higher, okay? So your gen pop for your degrees of how much flexion you actually need to be healthy and not have pain and to move fluidly, it's gonna be, if this is 90, gonna come up 35 to 45 degrees of extension in the shoulder, all right? Cool. Next, let's go shoulder. I feel like a little, like a lizard or a little sea animal, you know, slug. Do the old caterpillar section, right? Let's do shoulder abduction now, okay? Sorry, let's do shoulder adduction, okay? So what we're gonna do is we're gonna roly-poly over again, okay? All right, so back in our supine position, okay? I like to know all the terms, but on your back is fine. Turn over, yeah, figure it out. It's always good to learn things too, so welcome to learning and getting all the knowledge, okay? My YouTube Big Snack fan. Okay, so we're gonna do shoulder adduction now, okay? So with this one, arm's gonna come up to the roof. Your arm should be slightly turned out, okay? Just a little bit, don't overforce it, but just a little bit, turn it out, okay? From here, we're gonna slowly just bring our arm across our body, okay? Common overcompensations here is gonna be arm bend to get us further in, or when we come across, our back actually starts to come off the ground to get us to come over more. Obviously, that is not shoulder abduction, true shoulder abduction. You're actually adding in some T-spine rotation in there, which is great movement, but for what we're assessing, again, no good, my guy, okay? For people with big chests, or big breasts for the ladies, you come across the body, you're gonna get stuck hitting that chest, okay? And that's okay, that's your shoulder abduction. Again, 35 to 45 degrees is gonna be good for us, okay? Gen pop. Athletes, goal-specific lifestyle, if you need more for your sport, train it more. Ding dong, job done, all right? Let's go shoulder abduction now, okay? For this one, guys, it's funny doing stuff with shirtless, you know, I'm not even super lean right now, but you know, it is what it is. We can't always be super lean and muscular 24/7 unless that's your goal. Mine is to build mass and then drop mass, you know? Anyway, I'm gonna do it in a kneeling position. You can sit too, that's fine, okay? What you're gonna do is, I'm a little bit tall. I'm just gonna come up a touch, all right? As I hold this position, okay? Again, our elbow can turn in a little bit or arm can turn out, okay? From here, I'm gonna slowly let my arm come up to the roof. I'm gonna sit down. I don't want my arm coming too far out of the picture, okay? Coming up, that's my shoulder abduction, okay? Again, common overcompensations here. Arm is gonna come in front or behind, okay? Well, mostly in front because most people don't even have that much flexion, okay? I'm starting to become a bit of a flexible being, which is a goal of mine, okay? All right, so common compensations, like I said, arm in front. Other one would be bending the elbow or even bending the wrist to compensate, okay? So again, coming up. Most people have lots of abduction, okay? Beautiful, guys. So we did shoulder, we did internal rotation, external rotation. Rotation should always come before any linear movements. Linear means straight, okay? So any straight movement comes after your twisting rotational movements, all right? So we went shoulder, we did internal, external rotation, we did flexion, we did extension, we did abduction, adduction, okay? So just to recap, I'm just gonna pop the old shirt back on. Got to cover up the rig a little bit. Yeah, it's a nice t-shirt from FRC. Control yourself. I love it. I want to control my body like crazy and have control over it, you know? Recap, guys. So hip, we went over everything pretty much in supine, lying down or on our front in prone, okay? Front is prone. We did hip, internal rotation, external rotation, flexion, straight leg, flexion, bent leg, extension. We did abduction and adduction of the hip, okay? All ranges of motion of the hip, okay? Shoulder, we did internal rotation, external rotation, flexion, extension, abduction, and adduction. Thank you so much for joining me in this self-assessment class. It's very important to do something like this on yourself, or if you don't feel comfortable, you can always see me, DM me on Instagram. That's Big Snack Mobility. Comment on this page YouTube, or you can also set up an appointment with me for one-on-one stuff just to learn a bit more. I'm here in Toronto at Pure Fitness right now and killing it, you know, having fun. I love this whole system. Shout out to FRC and FRS Systems for showing me the way, man. And Big Snack fam, any questions? Drop a comment below, like, share, subscribe, all those things. Whatever you can do to support me would be fantastic, because I want to be able to one day help as many people as I can, and as far away in the whole world that I can, okay? Till next time, Big Snack out. Peace. One last thing, if you guys like this video and you want to see more assessment stuff, we can do other joints of the body as well. Spine would be the next one I would like to share with you guys. So let me know what you think. Thanks again. Peace. I just dropped this again.